right, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Episode 227, let's go Meatball UFC Shanghai. Glad that you're back. It was a G Burger fair last week. Didn't fare too well for you, boy, but you killed it while AFK, so kudos to you. You went 4-3 from UFC 319 last week. Your boy went 2-5. The Meatlock was an absolute L. Talk to me about just that fight. Chase Hooper got absolutely slept by Alexander, the great ape Hernandez. We thought Chase Hooper would continue his ascension. He got slept. What'd you make of the L of a Meatlock?
Yeah, no, Chase Hooper is an absolute bum dog. I thought he was better than that. I thought he was maybe on the path to victory, and he gets absolutely bum slept. So truly unfortunate to see, but that was a failure of a meatlock, but we were going to bounce back on this one for sure.
Yeah, we got to bounce back for sure. Absolutely took a dent for sure. Burnt a steak, but nonetheless, we shall persevere with this week at the Shanghai Dog Lock. But there were some good fights last weekend. Obviously, I do want to just go straight to the co-meet because you and I both picked Lerone Murphy. I didn't have a great weekend, but at least I was on the right side of that. You were too, obviously. We essentially said that Pico Bellator wasn't going to happen against a guy as high level as Lerone Murphy. And kudos to Aaron Pico, right? I think he fought well, right? He was looking great, really pushing the pace, pushing the action, dictating the pressure, but ultimately he just ran into a heavy shot. And if you look at Aaron Pico's record, the dude suffered a lot of pretty gnarly KOs. So I hope that he can recover and rebound. But Lerone Murphy slept him. We both called it. Do you think Lerone gets the next title shot? And what'd you make of that fight altogether?
Yeah, no, I feel like Leroy Murphy was doing pretty bad, honestly. Pico was looking amazing, but who am I to judge because Leroy absolutely came through and knocked him out really bad. Like that was a pretty gnarly knockout. That was a brutal one. I mean, I heard an interview after of one of the commentators talking where Pico didn't get his mouth guard out for like 5 minutes. He was just stuck clenching his teeth because he was so out. Very crazy, very scary. But I think Pico's good, so that's good to hear and see. I'm excited to see him back. Yeah, hopefully he makes the adjustments, understands he can't just blitz in and bully some of these top level guys. Because it seemed like Murphy was like, oh, I was calm, cool, collected, letting him do his thing, and I was just waiting because I knew he couldn't stop chasing me like a puppy dog, and then bop, hit him with the spinning back elbow. To me, it felt like more of like a YOLO luck, and then he decided to add some big brain after post interview. But hey, I don't know. Maybe Leroy Murphy is that guy. We'll see in his next bout.
Yeah, Christian Leron Murphy could be that dude for sure. And yeah, if maybe he gets the title fight next against Volk, I think that'd be a fun fight for sure. Either way, though, let's talk about the meat event, Meat Boy. You picked DDP. I picked Hamzat, but it wasn't like I was going into it with supreme confidence. I was pretty much a game time call. And ultimately, I ever so slightly went with Hamzat. So that was one of the few that I picked last weekend. But you picked DDP. A lot of people did. The fight was obviously clearly one-sided, probably the biggest bully beatdown we've ever seen in a title fight. What'd you make of DDP versus Hamzat? And given what we just witnessed, essentially 5-10-8, is there anyone not just in 170 or in 185, but is there anyone in the UFC that can beat Hamzat?
I don't even know. Like maybe Tom Aspinall, maybe John Jones, but other than that, I just don't see anyone beating him. I think Pereira gets absolutely smoked. I think Yuri gets smoked. I think even Magomedov gets ragdolled. And the other X factor potentially would be maybe Islam has a chance, but I think he ultimately gets smoked too. So yeah, I just don't know who beats Hamzat. The guy is truly the scariest man on earth in my opinion as of this moment. And I'm excited to see who takes down the wolf.
Yeah, and I had been thinking Hamzat versus John Jones this entire time as far as like most fascinating matchups, but I kind of spaced on the idea of Hamzat versus Tom Aspinall. That to me sounds like a fun and funny fight for sure. But beyond that, I don't think there are many serious conversations as far as who's going to take out Hamzat. I like that you inserted Islam in there, but we'll have to see, right? But I was very surprised by how one-sided that fight was and how he basically was just kind of toying with DDP. I mean, getting him in repeated crucifixes, you don't see that too frequently. So amazing performance from Hamza. He did what he has always said he was going to do, and now he's the champ. So a lot of fun stuff ahead either way. You ready to swap us over to Shanghai though? Because UFC 319 delivered. I mean, maybe this scrapper will too.
Yeah. No, I think this one it will be, it'll be decent. Last week was pretty good. This one will be decent.
Yeah, last week finally delivered. It was probably the most anticipated main event of the year, and we got Johnny Walker headlining to follow. Kevin Borjas is taking on Sumu Darji. You see the text. There's a meat lock here, and some might see, oh, Sumu Darji coming off a recent win, -174, the Tibetan Eagle in his backyard, getting this one done over Kevin Borjas. But we're kind of seeing it the flip side. It's an absolute dog lock. We're taking Kevin Borjas, who looked absolutely amazing in his last fight against Ronaldo Rodriguez. Lazy boy, and we were on the wrong end of a meatlock in that fight. Admittedly, we picked Ronaldo Rodriguez, and Kevin Boras not only dominated that fight, but really looked spectacular in that. So I think there was something within that fight that made us believers in this one against a guy at least as bad as Sumu Darji. And Sumu Darji, we can't forget this dude lost 3 straight and is yes coming in off a recent win technically, but it was a split decision and basically a robbery where Mitch Raposo, who is bottom of the barrel in this division, pretty much smoked Sumu Darji and technically gave him his 4th straight L, despite Sumu emerging with the split. So we like Kevin Boras as a dog lock. It's one of those fights where Vegas is all over the Tibetan Eagle, but the Tapology hardcores are taking Borjas. 61% is rolling with Kevin, only 39% going with the favorite Sumu. What do you like about Borjas as a meat lock in this one? And is he going to go out there and finish Sumu Darji like Sumu loves to get finished?
Tibetan Eagle loves to be finished, and yeah, he's 100% getting knocked out in my opinion. He's definitely getting finished by Kevin. And I mean, I just love to see these kind of odds. I think this is a dog lock. A little sizzle with some pepper on that steak.
Yeah, 100%. And, to that point, we've seen Sumo get finished many times, right? It's like not like it would be quite the anomaly for him to go out there and get smoked. I mean, Louis Smolka did it to him, Matt Schnell, easy light work, Tim Elliott, easy light work. And that was even at an upper weight class. The guy likes to get finished. And if he doesn't get finished, then perhaps he just drops a decision similar to how he did against Charles Johnson, where that fight went 15, but Sumo didn't do much in it and got dominated throughout. So if that's how this fight versus Borjas looks, that wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world for sure. And if you're looking at this fight, Meat Boy, how do you see Borjas having advantages? What specifically stands out? And do you think this fight hits the mat at all, or is Sumo just going to get slept on the feet?
He might get slept right on his feet, to be honest. But I don't know. Anything's possible. Sumu's pretty bad. I'm surprised to see him as the favorite, but I don't know what the odds makers are thinking on this one, except for free tendies for the boys.
Yeah, it's juicy for us for sure. And lastly, if you look at our boy Borjas's losses, the dude has only lost to Joshua Van, where he went the distance, and obviously Joshua Van's probably the next title challenger. And then he got finished by a YOLO by Alessandro Costa, who is also a top 10 guy in the division. So we think that Borjas is getting slept on in this one. He has less experience, but has more skills. Let's go, Kevin Borjas, keeping it simple, throwing down an easy 100 to net 136. Sumu's getting smoked. Sumu's getting cut. Any last thoughts on the meat lock?
No, just another meat lock. Definitely getting snuffed. This is a dog lock. Love to see it.
It's a dog lock for sure. Swap us through then, because it's another fight that perhaps if we broke this down 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe it would be a meat lock, a Michelle Pereira meat lock. But the circumstances are different. The hype for me for Michelle Pereira is absolutely gone. And Kyle Dawkins returns to the UFC off a beautiful 4-fight win streak. I mean, this dude had lost 2 straight, got his exit ticket, and since has rediscovered his sauce over in Cage Fury FC. And it could be a similar story to like when Brandon Moreno had his UFC run initially, gets cut, gets some wins in another promotion, comes back and becomes a champ. So is Kyle Dawkins on the Brandon Moreno future champ trajectory, or is even a bum as bad as Michelle Pereira going to take out Kyle Dawkins?
Ugh. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle Dawkins is so bad, but I gotta imagine that Pereira pulls through. I know Pereira, he just shilled and fumbled the last fight on purpose, probably got paid off or something, but this one I can't imagine any amount of money to him throw a fight versus Kyle Dawkins. Like Kyle Dawkins, I'm surprised Kyle Dawkins is still in the UFC, to be honest. His brother already got cut. He's probably getting cut next. The homie Pereira is definitely coming through.
But here's the thing, Kyle Dawkins, you're surprised that he's still in the UFC. It's more so he's back in the UFC, right? Like I would understand if you were surprised that the guy was still around after he had lost 2 straight, but he lost 2 straight, got cut, and he's been putting his work in and getting finishes, right? Smoked Keenan Pattershuk, smoked Sean Connor Fallon, Robert Gidron, Greg Ellis. I mean, these are some pretty big time wins for Kyle Dawkins. So, are you at all concerned that the recent version that we saw of Michel Pereira, where, as you said, something was strange about that fight for sure? What is to say that that's not going to be the same version of Michel Pereira we get again? And if so, I mean, if we get the worst Michel Pereira versus the best Kyle Dawkins, could Kyle win that? Or do you still think even the worst version of Pereira is better than peak Kyle Dawkins?
I mean, you have a very compelling argument there, but I don't know. I gotta imagine that Pereira is probably gonna throw a backflip or two. It's probably gonna trip Kyle out, and Kyle's gonna go, "Why did I join the UFC to fight a numbnut like this guy? I'm gonna go back to the CFFC, and win every fight and be the GOAT in that championship." Because Kyle Dawkins is getting snuffed with a double backflip, stompage, 100%.
I don't know, Meat Boy. I mean, I think that that is a take that we would have made historically, right? We love Michel Pereira. We have loved Michel Pereira at Meat Boy MMA, but for me, I think the story is over, and I agree with you. I do think we're going to see some backflips. I think Michel's going to be out there trying to throw multiple, but he's going to throw a backflip at the wrong time. He's going to find himself on the bottom underneath Kyle Dawkins, and Kyle Dawkins, Chris's brother, is going to finish Michel Pereira with some gnarly elbows, some ground and pound, a straight up bloody TKO that sends Michel Pereira as far away from the UFC as possible. Because I'm done with Michel Pereira. I think the dude is awful. And I think Kyle Dawkins, as a dog in this one, is going to have some interesting life. So for me, at plus 220, Kyle Dawkins comes in and not only beats Michel Pereira, he dominates and he finishes Michel Pereira. And I never thought I would say that Kyle Dawkins finishes Michel Pereira, but that's how done I am with Demolador. Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping. It's not a bad thing to go against as of now, but I don't know. I love Pereira. He's one of the funniest fighters ever. I hope that he can uh, just go back to fighting and not taking bribes or something because his last performance was horrendous. I still have faith that he can perform, but we shall see. This is a great level test. If he doesn't steamroll through Dawkins, then he probably needs to be cut, to be honest.
I agree with that for sure, and we'll see what happens for sure. We'll see if Demolador gets demolished himself by Kyle Dawkins. But nonetheless, let us know in the comments if you are taking Demolador. Do you believe that he's back and still has something to offer, or is Kyle Dawkins as a juicy dog going to cash? But swap us through, Meat Boy. It's some heavyweight meat slingers, two absolute lunch boxes in this one. Sergey Pavlovich taking on Salsa Boy Waldo Cortez, who is 14-1 and somehow keeps winning every fight, right? I mean, I feel like every time we break down a Waldo Cortez fight, sometimes we pick against him, yet the dude never loses. He dropped that one L to Deligma, but beyond that, it's been a lot of W's, some domination, some squeaker buys, but he keeps winning fights, and now he's taking Sergey Pavlovich, who came in off a nice recent win himself over Rosenstrike, and we were all over that one, right? If you remember, it was kind of like a pick 'em. People were picking Rosenstrike. Ooh, Biggie Boy could get this one done against Sergey Pavlovich, and we sort of knew that Pavlovich, despite the two recent L's, was going to smoke Biggie Boy, and he did. So it was good to see him get back on track, but he did get smoked by Volkov. He did get smoked by Tom Aspinall. So is there any chance that Waldo Cortez is in and worthy of the top three, top five conversations at heavyweight, or is this where the rubber meets the road and Salsa Boy loses to a guy as high level as Sergey?
Yeah, yeah, I think Salsa Boy definitely loses. Like Waldo somehow always sneaks by, but I gotta imagine that he's about to get absolutely his lights turned off by a lunchbox, hammer fist of doom from the Russian. I think he's gonna knock him out probably first round.
Was a dude who, before his recent L streak, was sleeping everyone, right? I mean, I know we just talked about Jairzinho was a decision, but that was basically his first decision ever. It was his first decision in the UFC because everything beyond that was a Sergey knockout. So if you think that Salsa Boy is going to go out there and get smoked by Pavlovich, is it going to be because Pavlovich lands a lunchbox and sleeps him? Because Waldo Cortez, one, has never been slept, and two, he doesn't get hit a lot, right? I mean, the guy's like low key sneaky on the feet. He controls distance well, doesn't absorb too much damage. So, what gives you confidence that Pavlovich will be the first guy to not only land heavy on Salsa Boy, but put his lights out?
Yeah, I can't imagine that he's going to knock out Salsa Boy. He just has a different level of power. Salsa Boy is definitely getting touched. And I mean, this guy's no Tom Aspinall, and Tom Aspinall's probably the only guy that can beat, besides Volk. It just depends on the style, but this guy's just not that impressive. He somehow squeaks his way through. But I gotta imagine that he's gonna get hit at least once, and that's all it's gonna take is just one hit.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, do I just not understand what I'm watching? Because every time I watch Waldo Cortez, to me, I'm also unenthused, unimpressed, uninspired. But the judge's verdict gets rendered, and Salsa Boy's win streak persists. So it's like, maybe I'm missing something. But one thing I found fascinating is Sergey, we know, is the guy in the UFC who has the longest reach, right? 84-inch reach, 6'3". Despite Waldo being an inch taller at 6'4", he's only got a 78-inch reach. So perhaps that 5 or 6 inch reach advantage could be beneficial for Sergey. Tapology is overwhelmingly bullish on Sergey. 82% is rolling with him. Majority Brown, so they agree with you that Salsa Boy is getting slept. If you are taking Sergey by finish, is it early or is it often?
It's definitely early and it's often.
Yeah, fair enough. I've been going back and forth in this one. I keep picking against Waldo Cortez. Man, is there any way he gets this one done? I'll roll with you. I'll go Sergey, but I'm gonna go Sergey by close decision. And if it's closer than what Sergey wants, then I can see Waldo zucking his way to a decision because somehow the guy is on the right end every single time. So I'm gonna ever so slightly lean Sergey by decision, but that's under the thinking that he wins all 3 rounds and doesn't allow any round to be too competitive. Because if they are, I can see a salsa split for sure. So I'll go Sergey by unanimous. You're going Sergey by finish?
Yeah.
Swap us through the Meat Boys to co-meet. It's a for no reason 5 round fight. Brian Ortega, T City taking on Aljo, who is coming in having lost 2 of 3, but he just went the distance with Mavzar, and I thought he fought pretty well in that fight. Like, I didn't think it was a robbery of a decision or anything, but I did think that Aljo showed a lot of life in that fight and showed a lot of. He still has his high level game, right? I mean, this is a dude who, while yes, is no longer the champ. Yes, he got slept by O'Malley. He's now at a new weight class, and we'll see what that can do for him. And he's taking on T City, who's lost 3 of 4. He's lost 4 of 6. And last time we saw him, he got absolutely smoked in a non competitive fight, I thought, versus Diego Lopez. So in this co-meet, it's 5 rounds. So I'm curious who you think that favors, if anyone. And in this 5 rounder, who you taking, Aljo or T City?
I gotta go Aldo on this one. T City, I don't know. I just don't see how T City's gonna submit Aldo. Like Aldo's wrestling is just so good. His defense, I mean, his grappling is already so good too. And I don't think that T City's gonna be able to keep it on the feet. And so T City's gonna have to try to keep fight from his back. And I just don't see Aljo getting submitted, to be honest. If he does, T City's the man. But I think Aljo's gonna win. It's a good fight stylistically for Aljo, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good matchup. It's fascinating matchmaking for sure. And to that point, right? I mean, we've never seen Aljo get submitted, definitely not in the UFC, not throughout his professional career. It's a very difficult guy to finish. And obviously, we know Ortega as a very advantageous submission artist himself. But the grappling, the wrestling should be fascinating in this one. Focusing on that specifically, like let's say this fight does hit the mat. Do you think Aljo is going to have his way with T City? Is T City going to perhaps threaten from the bottom and maybe force stand up? Or how do you see this fight playing out if it does hit the mat?
I mean, if it hits the mat, I think Aljo's gonna have top control the whole time, and T City is gonna be just trying to throw submission after submission, and I'm very curious actually if he's gonna try to stay on the ground or if he's gonna try to kick him and get back up ASAP. I think I don't know. I don't think Aljo's gonna be scared to take him down, but that would be interesting if this stays standing up the whole time. If it stays standing up, T City for sure has the better stand up game, 1000%. So. I don't know. This is gonna be a very interesting one, a fun fight, very fun stylistically. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's a good matchup, and I don't even know if it favors either guy to be 5 rounds. I feel like both these dudes have proven to go 25 before. Maybe Aljo has looked a little bit better historically in later rounds, but either way, I don't think it favors anyone. I don't think there's a point to it. If anything, I think it's just a because we can style decision from the UFC, and I'll leave it at that. But nonetheless, it's a close fight for me. I'm gonna ever so slightly roll with you. I'll go with Aljo just because I like your point. I think he's going to out wrestle him, out grapple him, and it's difficult for me to see a world where Ortega picks up a finish via submission, and I don't see either guys being able to finish this fight by strike. So my last question would be: any chance Aljo picks up a submission finish?
I mean, if he does, that's crazy. But I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. T City, you just never know. He just seems like I don't know. He just seems a little off in nowadays. But maybe I'm off.
No, I feel that sometimes his vibes are difficult to dissect, and you're unsure what version you're going to get. So I don't blame you for that take for sure. But we'll both go Aljo. Officially, are you going decision or finish?
I'm gonna go decision, 100%.
Yeah, decision for Aljo seems safe. Most of Tapology is there as well. Swap us through the meat boy. It's the meat event. It's Zhang Ming Yang taking on Johnny Walker, and right away it's a fascinating fight because Johnny Walker obviously gets slept most fights. Historically, the last three fights he has been asleep before the fight began, and prior to that, obviously he had some beautiful finishes, some amazing hype. Johnny Walker was all the rage, and recently it's been rough. However, the counter to that would be Zhang Ming Yang is a true hype beast, right? I mean, this is a guy obviously who is 3-0 in the UFC, three performance of the night finishes, and has looked amazing, but he hasn't yet seen a second round. And his victories are over Brenson Ribeiro, who's awful, beat Ozzy Diaz, who is terrible, and he just finished and retired Anthony Smith in a fight that was pretty sad to watch. So the question becomes, is there any chance Johnny Walker can survive 5 minutes? And if he does he have life against the Mountain Tiger? Or is Johnny Walker, just like he did a few months ago, going to get slept in the first round?
Yeah, Johnny Walker's probably getting snuffed first round low key. But that being said, I don't know. Johnny's had good days and bad days, but this one, it's in Zhang's home country. This is just recipe for Johnny Walker to get knocked out in a wild fashion.
It really does. Topology sees it the same way. Will win a decision, and instead it's going to be an early and often finish for him over Johnny Walker. If you're taking Ming Yang Zhang to win by KO, is it in the first round? It probably is, obviously. How about this? Is it first minute, second minute? How early is the first round KO?
I think first round KO is within the first 3 minutes.
Is this then to be understood as a patented meat under .5 banger?
I could see that, but I don't know. I think Johnny might last at least 2 minutes.
Clench the .5 over for Johnny Walker. Perhaps he survives. I don't know. This one's close for me. I would love to pick Johnny Walker. I want to believe that he can survive 5 minutes and go out there and turn the table against the Mountain Tiger and force him to showcase what he looks like beyond the 5 minute mark. Because if we remember, Ming Yang Zhang, we look at his record, right? 19-6. And it's fascinating because this dude is on absolute tear, right? Double-digit fight win streak, undefeated in the UFC. Yet, how do you square that circle with a 19-6 record? It's by going 500 across your first five fights. This dude was 6-6. So historically, Ming Yang Zhang has lost some fights, and while it's been all roses lately, you wonder if Johnny Walker can be the guy to bring him back to those 500 fighter days. But I don't buy it. Probably Ming Yang Zhang likely wins by first round finish. I'll clench that over though. Maybe Johnny Walker can survive 2.5 minutes, but someone's probably getting slept in the first round, eh?
Yeah, he's probably getting slept first round.
Let us know in the comments if you're taking Zhang Ming Yang to keep the hype streak alive, keep the hype beast momentum alive, or is Johnny Walker coming back? It's going to be interesting, though, and we'll see if Zhang Ming Yang has been doing his studying, you could say. But we broke down 5 Meat Boy. Last week, you killed it 4-3. Your boy went 2-5. How do you do UFC Shanghai? Are you going 5-0?
I think I'm gonna go 4-1.
4-1 for us both. I'm telling you though, Kyle Dawkins, he's taking out Michelle Pereira. Let us know in the comments if you agree with any of our picks, if you're riding the MEATLOCK dog, and any last thoughts, people?
No, this is a Zanger for sure. Fun fight card nonetheless.